I remember when I was a swimmer in the university in Stellenbosch, I used to have a lot of pain in my shoulders. I remember feeling the pain on the front of my shoulders here, on both sides, and that kept me out of training for months. And it wasn't until I found a good physio, a good trainer, that then helped me with the exercises and treatment to alleviate this pain. And this is a very common injury in swimmers. Sometimes it's referred to as swimmer soldiers or impingement syndrome. But today's video, we're going to look at why this happens in swimmers, and then also at some of the exercises that we can help you alleviate the pain or avoid getting into that position where we're injured. Because that's essentially every swimmer's dream, or every athlete's dream, is to stay injury-free so that we can train as hard as we can and perform the best we can. Swimmers generally do about 4,000 strokes per shoulder in a single session. So if you were to train 5 times a week, you don't go on holidays because we want to perform, so you're doing 52 weeks in a year, that is over 1 million strokes or 1 million rotations in the shoulder per year. So that comes at no surprise that the shoulder is the most common injured part of the body for swimmers. So musculoskeletal pain reports for the shoulder ranges between 27% up to 87% in swimmers. That is a very high percentage. Now, when I had the pain when I was younger, like I said, I went to a physio, I had some exercises to do, and this took away that pain. So I thought it was pain that was going to stay forever while I was a swimmer. And at some point, with the work that I put in, that pain went away, and it's now been years since I've felt any kind of pain in my shoulder during swimming. So with this video, we're looking to achieve 2 things. One is we want to alleviate that pain for you. So giving you the right information to try and take that pain away from you. Secondly is to avoid getting that pain. So hopefully you're in that second category. So take the information I'm giving you today, use the exercises that I'm going to give at the end of the video, and make sure you are stronger for it and don't get injured. So quick disclaimer, I am not a doctor. So if you are injured and you've been feeling this pain for a while, it's probably best to go to a doctor first and get your proper diagnosis. After that, you can take a look at the exercises that we're doing, which will help your road to recovery. So for those who don't know, prehab exercises is exercises that we do to prepare our body for an exercise or movement or activity that we would do in our daily life or for training. This will enable us to make sure that our joints and our muscles are ready for what we're doing and therefore not get injured. This is obviously the best route to take, because not only will it make your swimming stronger, but we can keep swimming and we don't have to take breaks just to go and do our recovery, do our rehab, and see physios. We want to just keep training at the highest level that we possibly can. So let's go over the common reasons as to why we develop swimmer's shoulders. There's 2 versions. You got intrinsic factors and extrinsic factors. One common reason is the increased anterior glenohumeral laxity, or also known as the anterior shoulder instability. Essentially, this means that your upper arm tends to be looser to the front side of your shoulder. So this is quite common in swimmers, as well as overhead activities or other sports such as baseball or cricket. Any movement that has your arm going overhead will allow excessive rotation of the shoulder when you're going up behind you. At this point, we are allowing excessive rotation on the shoulder, and that is creating that extra space in the front of the shoulder. So obviously we don't want that extra space in front of the shoulder by the humerus, so we have muscles that keep the stability of our shoulder. I'm sure you've heard of the rotator cuff muscles, as well as the long head of the bicep. These muscles help keep the stability in the shoulder. So as most people do not train the rotator cuff properly, they're not strong enough to last through the whole session or whatever exercise you are doing. So as fatigue sets in your rotator cuff muscles and your bicep, the long head of your bicep, there will be excessive movement in the glenoid fossa, which is part of your shoulder joint. And this will increase the tension or the compression of tendons in that joint. Okay, let me bring in our friend here, Mr. Bones Jr. Now he's had a little accident. He's lost a leg and his head has come off. But don't feel too bad for him as he doesn't have any feelings. So let me just take this off before it falls off. Now, as you can see, the shoulder joint over there, okay, this is the scapula, or as you probably know it, the shoulder blade. In there is the glenoid fossa. That is where the humerus, your upper arm, will fit into. And the tendons and muscles will hold that stability, will stabilize that bone right in the right position. Okay, now with excessive movement, such as with swimming and overhead throwing, over time that space will get bigger. Okay, so we create more space between the glenoid fossa and the humerus. And that can then put the tension or the stress on the tendons or compression. All right, let's put this guy down again. Okay, so our extrinsic factors. The first one is overuse. This is simple. You are training too much, putting too much force into that shoulder over and over, and this is not allowing your body to recover in time. So your tissues are taking more stress than it's able to recover. Secondly is misuse. This is simple. This is just bad technique, or maybe using equipment in the wrong way. Thirdly is abuse. This is putting too much strength or too much power into the joint. So for example, using paddles, it puts more stress onto the shoulders. So if you're feeling that pain and you're putting a lot of work into the paddles, you're probably doing more damage. And lastly is disuse. This is if you're not training enough. So you get atrophy in your muscles. Your muscles and tendons are not used to the force that you're putting through it. These factors are ones that we can control very easily. You can speak to your coach, speak to your trainer. How can you change your program to ensure that we get enough rest or not put too much stress into our shoulders? So these symptoms are usually associated with an inflammatory condition, which is often called impingement syndrome. Now, although many people would want to go to medical interventions such as injection, maybe oral medication, or some people even for surgery, these things do not solve the cause of the injury. Therefore, for prehab and rehab, we want to focus on the following things: glenohumeral instability, incorrect posture, weak rotator cuff muscles, and poor neuromuscular control. Now, if you've been experiencing this pain for a while, it's probably best to go see a physio. You want to get a proper assessment because each person and each injury is slightly different, and we want to know where the cause of the injury is coming from, and that will be different for each person. However, these exercises that we're going to talk about today, they are good exercises for your stroke as well. It makes you a stronger swimmer, avoid further injury. So these are good exercises to try regardless of where your injury is coming from. Also, I'm still a swimmer. I work on these exercises almost every day. If it's not every day, I am at least doing these exercises as a warm-up to my main set in the gym. And that keeps my shoulder nice and healthy and my stroke nice and strong. Especially if you're getting old like me. I'm almost 38 now. We get injured faster. We also recover a lot slower. So it's even more important for us to do these exercises and stay on top of it. All right, let's start with our prone TYIs. So this is the T. You want to have your thumbs pointing up to the roof, straight arms to the side. You're lying on your front and you're lifting up your arms as high as you can, squeezing your shoulder blades together. So this is working our thoracic muscles, rotator cuff muscles, squeezing that back. And then our next one will be the Ys. So you're making a Y shape with your body at a 45-degree angle. Again, lifting your hands up as high as you can. Now you don't want to lift your head up at this point. If you lift up your head on each rep, you are going to be working a lot of the neck muscles as well, which we want to avoid. We want the tension to be in the shoulders. Also, don't press your head down into the ground either. If you press your head down, same thing, you'll be stressing the neck muscles. And then the I with your hands in front of you, thumbs still pointing up to the roof. And you can do alternating arms if you want. You don't have to do both arms together. The next one is our prone snow angels. This is one of my favorites. Again, keeping your head just off the ground and working through that snow angel movement. Nice long stretched out arm all the way back to your glutes and back to the front. Go at a nice slow pace. We don't want to rush this. And you're keeping the shoulders squeezed at the back. Your thoracic muscles, your shoulder blades are pushing up. And you can see you're going through that range of motion from the back. Thirdly, we have quite a difficult one, is our scapular push-ups. We want to push away from the ground as far as possible, rounding your upper back a little bit and allowing a lot of protraction in the scapula, in your shoulder blades. And retraction coming back, your shoulder blades touching each other. From the back angle, you can see how my shoulder blades are moving out. That's protraction, and retraction where they're connecting again. This increases the mobility for your shoulders and strength of that rotator cuff muscles. Now we've got the internal and external rotation of the shoulder. I'm going to grab a band and connect it to something and rotate that arm out. This is external rotation on this one. You want to rotate out, keep the elbow nice and close to the body. This is the back view. Keep the elbow close to the body and nice and slow movement. Make sure your shoulders are rolled back. If you are hunching forward, then you are not activating the muscles properly. This is internal rotation, same movement, just in the other direction. Again, keeping your shoulders nice and straight or pulled back so that you are not rounding your back. And this is from the back view, keeping the elbows close to the body. This shouldn't be too difficult, fairly easy exercise. Now, last one, we're going into our serratus anterior wall roll. Put a band around your wrists and put a roller against the wall and just roll your arms up onto the roller and to a full extension at the top. Keep tension in the band, try and keep your forearms parallel to each other and squeeze up to the top and keeping tension on the band the whole time. Here you can see how you're going in a full extension at the top, allowing the arms to reach up. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed those exercises. Please go and try them. If you have any questions or you're not sure about anything, please put it in the comment below. I'll try and answer you guys. And for today's Mandarin, 我喜欢汉堡包. You can figure that one out. All right, see you in the pool. Bye.